Okay, so today's tomato review is going to be on the Reisetomate Tomato. Okay, so you gotta excuse my Norwegian or German. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Reisetomate, as how you would pronounce that in English, or maybe Norwegian you would pronounce it that way. I'm not 100% sure. Nevertheless, I got one cut open for you and back out, and we'll show you a little bit of this tomato. Now this tomato is quite an interesting tomato. It's a very, very interesting tomato. This tomato will take on many different shapes, many different forms. Sometimes it forms like this. You'll see it's like one large globular connected, and then in here there's a little bead in here. I could probably pop that one right out. And then there's all these other little lobes, but they're all connected. But most of the time when you get these tomatoes pretty big, and these will get pretty large, these can get up to a pound, but they usually form hundreds of these little tomatoes. You see I just broke one off. Usually they form, all of these little tomato pieces will form on one tomato cluster, which is quite bizarre if you ask me. Like here, I'm trying to break this one off. You see how it comes off? It was kind of connected here, but yeah, it was not. It could be broken off like an individual tomato, and this is what it looks like when you take off one of those sections. And you could do the same thing with this one. See, I just simply disconnected it from the center part. It's almost like it's forming these little pomegranate type little kernels. Here's another one. See, I'm going to break it off. Alright, this one's attached to this piece here, but you could just as easily take that, separate that just like this. You know, you could just, they come apart real easy. Alright, and then you're left with like one large one here, but usually when you get them, they kind of look more like this. Alright, this one's over ripening. You can see it's splitting, and so, but you usually get like a cluster of them on here. Smaller lobes, a lot of times they're just single bulbs like this, and they're all over, and they're just totally freaky looking. And you can just simply, this one's almost looking like it's getting some stripes in it. I may have crossed with one of my other tomatoes. Be interesting to get one of these that are striped. Kind of hard to do with one hand, because if not, I'm going to end up crushing it up. Anyway, I took one of these and I just kind of sliced it right down the center to give you an idea what it might look like in the center. It looks like a brain. That's what it looks like. And it's kind of weird looking, but that's what it is. It is what it is, right? And here's the other half that's cut down. Now I'll taste test this and let you know what it tastes like. But last year it didn't taste exactly that good to me. So, I mean, I saved seeds from them anyway, but I didn't really go out of my way to eat them because I didn't really appreciate the taste last year. But we'll taste test this now, and we'll see if this is any better than last year. But we could look at if you look at it, I see a little bit of wilding in the rind, just a little bit. You could also see that the seeds are firmly attached to the tomato for the most part. There's like one area here where it's not attached, but that might be because the way I cut the tomato open. But normally these seeds are generally attached to the rind. This one seems to be pretty good. And you can just see the way the seed chambers are. They're just everywhere on this thing. This thing has like no pattern whatsoever. So why don't we taste this thing right here, see what it tastes like. And actually, it don't taste that bad this year. Tastes pretty good, actually. Nice. It has a nice amount of tangy. It's got a nice amount of sweetness to it. The inside's not mushy or anything. And these been sitting out here for like a week. I haven't had a chance to get to these tomatoes in about a week. Most of these were green, so I had to let them sit and ripen anyway, but some of these were already red, and I had to throw 2 out because they just ripened to the point where I can't do anything with them. For these tomatoes that were out as long as they were, they taste perfectly good. I'm ready to take another bite here. Yeah, this year they don't taste bad at all. Skins are a little bit on the tough side, but it's got a pretty nice balance between the tangy and the sweet. It's pretty good. I'm going to say tangy is probably around 30%. Sweet is about a 25%. It's pretty moist in between that. It's not dry or anything like that. The tomato flavor carries in nicely and leaves you a good aftertaste with that tangy flavor, so it has a nice delivery effect. So I'm pretty impressed with it this year. I was getting ready to give this a 3 right before I even taste tested it, because last year it just didn't taste that good to me last year at all. But this year it tastes pretty good. It's really not bad. I don't mind actually adding this to my salsa, but not bad. I'm going to actually rate this tomato this year as a number 2. This one's actually going to come in at number 2. I can't rate it number 1 because it's just not a number 1 type tomato. You put this thing on the table with your guests, they're going to be weirded out by it in general. You'd really have to be a tomato lover to want to eat one of these. Most people would be like grossed out by it. So because of that reason, it wouldn't be like a number 1 tomato. You know, I'm going to serve this to my guests. I would try to serve it to my guests, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be like, I don't know about that. They look a little weird. And so for that reason and some other reasons, I just can't give it a number 1 space. But as far as taste goes, this thing's delicious. This tomato is absolutely delicious. I'm definitely going to rate that as a number 2 though. Put a little salt on it. See if it tastes any better. You put salt on that thing, that's almost a number 1. Wow. When you put that flavor, that salt brings the flavor of that tomato right to the surface. Man, that tasted really good with salt. Really, really, really good. I try not to skew my taste test when I add salt because that messes me up for the next tomato review. I got to really wash my mouth out and everything because that salt and that tangy flavor just kind of hang around a while. So, but in general, I would like to do my taste test with salt on it because a lot of times salt will bring out that real true flavor of the tomato, whereas the tangy may not be able to do it that year. But you add the salt, it kind of just balances it out. But man, with the salt on that thing, whoa, that's almost a number 1. Let me tell you, that tasted really good this year. Really, really good. Very impressed. I'm going to cut up a couple of those and save seed, and the rest I'm going to just put right in my right into my salsa. So yeah, this is going to be a number 2 this year, a 2+, I would like to say. I can't give it a 1, but we'll say 2+. If you never grew this tomato before, definitely give it a grow. It's a very, very interesting tomato. It's a lot of fun. Your neighbors will be like, what is it? And it's a great conversation piece. So definitely give this one a go. It's a lot of fun and an interesting piece to put out on the table for people to talk about. So that's it. That's your review for the Reisetomate. And if you, my Norwegian isn't that good, guys. I'm really bad Norwegian. But if you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.